strong will the impact of Typhoon Ruby as it enters the Philippine area of responsibility? How massive is the preparations being undertaken by the government as ordered by President Aquino to ensure our people are safe and secure from the harm that will be brought about by the typhoon packing heavy winds and rain? Joining us tonight on NewsLife is Undersecretary Alexander Pama of the National Risk Reduction Management Council live via phone patch. Good evening, sir, and welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening, and good evening to our viewers as well.
Sir, what is the latest regarding the Typhoon Ruby's location at this point, and what areas are being affected?
Well, the latest we have is the one that was sent by Pagasa. And what's good about the latest from Pagasa is basically it has slightly reduced the strength. It's now at 195 kilometers per hour, and with gust to winds of 230. Although there is a slight reduction in its strength, we still remain to be vigilant, and we have not lowered the alert levels that we still have. The alert levels are still in place, and as we noticed, although it has lessened, still packing strong winds.
Mm-hmm. Sir, in Metro Manila, we haven't been experiencing any amount of rain. What areas are currently experiencing the wrath of the typhoon?
From the latest reports that we have, we can say that there are areas that are experiencing what you're saying, the wrath. Because even in Borongan and Northern Samar, the area expected to be the first area for the lot. The latest reports we're having, they still are not feeling that the strength of the so-called wrath of the typhoon. There's the distance it still has, right? And about, if I'm not mistaken, about 300 kilometers or thereabouts. If it in the northern summer area, it is not that felt as yet. The more so here in Metro Manila.
Mm-hmm. Sir, how do you assess the cooperation of the different LGUs and different groups and organizations in terms of preparations for Typhoon Ruby?
Well, insofar as the reaction and the cooperation of the local government units, in fact, even to include our people, it's very heartwarming to note that there's been very good cooperation, especially by our countrymen, and as we have seen in various reports coming from the fields. The local government units, headed by the different local chief executives, have been conducting the different. They have been implementing the contingency plans they've had in place, and as you can see, even in the evacuations, we have not heard of what we would call the forced evacuation. Mostly, there are even instances, reports that we get that there are voluntary evacuations, and in fact, there are even in some places, some of the residents are the ones asking their leaders as to when or where they're going to be evacuated.
Sir, we are expecting Typhoon Ruby to make a landfall, hopefully not within this weekend. And we have already prepositioned some relief goods and even medical supplies in various areas of the country. Are these complete already, or are we still in the process of prepositioning some relief items and medical supplies?
We have been prepositioning, in fact, in most of the places, the DSWD and other, primarily DSWD have already prepositioned relief items, but that would depend on how long our evacuees would be in areas where they're going to stay. But in our meetings with Secretary Soliman tonight and this afternoon, the accounting that has been made is that so far, the reports that we're getting, relief items and relief goods that have been prepositioned are enough as of this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Sir, last time when Typhoon Yolanda happened, one of the most affected service in our society was in terms of electricity. What is being done to help address what will happen to our electricity line or energy sector when this Typhoon Ruby hits the country?
part of the preparations that we have been doing, we have had continuing coordination, especially with the Department of Energy, as well as the National Grid Corporation, who is basically the one leading insofar as the maintenance of electricity. One of the things that had been given as an advance information is that there is going to be what we would call if at all there's going to be an outage of electricity. This is more of a preemptive thing, and this is for purposes of to avoid any accidents, because we know if there's going to be strong winds and some of the electric posts will be toppled and lines will be broken. Just for purposes of safety, the usually electric cooperatives and the electric organizations would put off the current of the electricity as a safety measure, so that it won't develop into some accidents. There are preparations that have been undertaken by the NGCP and the DOE. So as they would be able, in coordination with the DPWH and other local government units, to be able to put back the electricity as soon as possible when the typhoon is over.
And sir, finally, a word or advice from you to our people.
Well, we would like to, first and foremost, we would like to thank our people for having been very cooperative generally to the advices and the evacuations advisories that are being given. We would like to thank our countrymen for being very helpful and being very cooperative on this. And we also would like to thank our local government units for the splendid performance that they've been doing so far in terms of implementing the contingency measures that they have undertaken. But as a word, maybe as a word of advice to our countrymen all over the places where where the typhoon is projected to pass through, we would like to request them not to wait until such time that maybe the floods or the heavy winds are already hitting, and they would start evacuating or go to safer places. The name of the game right now is what we will say is preemption or pre-activities before the danger would set in.
All right, and on that note, thank you very much, Undersecretary Alexander Pama of the NDRRMC. Thank you, sir, and stay safe.
Thank you very much.